welcome once again on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, right before the end of the year. And today it's about a visionary, entrepreneur, and man with a mission. Very excited to be introducing Marc Musser, a incredible thought leader and inspirational person that has a wonderful gift for all of us today. Today, for the most part, I'm guessing that Wendy and I are going to be absolutely speechless. We're going to be enthralled, intoxicated with some incredible insights. I have listened to this man so many times, love this guy, love what he has to share, love the insights, and has been an incredible motivator, inspiration in my life, and certainly has given me the direction that has helped me create the path in my life as well. So I want to welcome you today, Marc.
Well, Bart, thank you so much. What an introduction. I'm first off honored to be here, and great to see both of your smiling faces. And I've actually been really excited about this.
Awesome. Awesome. And Wendy, we are in for a major treat, and anybody listening in as well. And just as an introduction's sake, this platform for your transformation, the prescription for your transformation, why I liken it, it's pretty much, as we were talking earlier on, people are running their patterns, they're running their old stories, their own strategies. And when I use that word prescription for transformation, by whose prescription are you living your life? And I know you and I, think a lot in many similar ways, and I've learned so many things from you as well. And today is about that. This platform is about finding new voices, new solutions, your transformation. And so I would love to hear, some of your thoughts, your ideas, some of your success stories. In fact, I'm going to give you the whole show if you want, so you can enlighten us and the rest of the world, especially here on Facebook Live.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much. I would say, a lot of the people that don't know me, it's like, kind of who am I? And a couple things to quote June Cato, a beautiful lady that I really admire. I'm everything and I'm nothing. And just like by the end of today, I hope, if nothing else, that everybody listening to this realizes that every single one of you has divine perfection in you as well. And we're no better. I don't care if you have $1 billion or you're homeless. It makes no difference. Your value is not your bank account. Your value is not the car you drive. Your value is not whether or not you got a degree at Harvard, because the people at Princeton think, oh, you suck, you went to Harvard. And, oh, we went to Princeton. And the people at Yale laugh at both of them because they go, well, we went to Yale. And then if you went to Yale, yeah, but you didn't go in the right major. You went in the easy major, and you went in the different house. And there are so many things that we have accepted along the way. So if we can break free of those, and that's the gift that we can do today, I believe everybody's going to be able to soar in 2017 like never before. And a lot of the people are asking, and Bart, I've been doing this a while as well. And we look and if you've ever wondered where you look at the person next to you who doesn't have your skill set, but they seem to have, life just clicks for them. They get the promotion, they get the car, they get the house, they get the spouse, and life seems magical. What if that was available for you as well? And it's the same thing too. So let's just commit to empty our glass. There's no judgment here. I'm not better than anybody on this call, anybody out there as well. And the other part too, I don't know how PG, but I'm nobody's bitch either. You know what I mean? I don't care if I'm sitting with Bill Gates, a multi-billionaire, or a homeless person. And in God's eyes, we're all divine perfection. So today it's going to be about, hey, what are some of the distinctions that I've been able to identify simply because of the positions I've had? And, as where you and I came again, as we had the really unique vantage point of seeing people of all walks of life, from billionaires to millionaires to professional athletes, moms and dads, quality people, homeless people, people that were suicidal, and how did we help them transform? And one of the things that popped up was it was never about who had the most talent. So right now, if you think to yourself, oh, I'm not as smart, says who? Oh, I'm too old, says who? I'm too young, that's a good one, says who? And so part of the thing that I would say today is that if we want to look at, let's take an honest look right now at 2016. What did we do right? What did we win? How did we move forward? But at the same point, did you hit every one of your goals? Most people, if will quit on their New Year's resolutions by the 15th of the month. of January. So right now, a lot of people are eating like crazy and they're going, I'm going to start in January. And so one of the things though, too, if we're going to make 2017 better and finally turn the corner and make those dreams a reality, what has to change? And one of the first things I would invite everybody to be open to is take a look right now at the beliefs that you carry. Most of us carry these beliefs like they're mine. You know, it's like my shit luggage that I am going to hold on to no matter what. And so let's start, for example, with our body. Okay, if God and the universe stacked up 1,000 bodies in front of you, on the far left was the fattest person on the planet. They can't get out of bed. That's a choice. On the other side of the spectrum, we have, this incredible fit human being, and then everything in between. If you could pick the body that you were going to live in and you got one choice, which one do you pick?
I choose mine.
Okay, good. Most people don't. Most people will go ahead and be swayed. They're going to say, I'm too old. I want that one. I want to look like that, but I don't have time. You know what? That's just not realistic. I'm married. I have kids. I have a full-time job. And so we have the sort of thing, yeah, I want to look like Brad Pitt, but I'm going to settle over here for I can't even think of a John Candy or something, you know what, because, well, I'm too busy. They want to look like that. They want to have the power or the endurance of a Dean Karnezes, but they settle for something less than. Same thing with the body. When somebody has, and it's not about, the thing I want you guys to get is, it's kind of like with the women in this country. If you've ever seen those videos, where they show the woman, this beautiful woman, and they see it, and then they backfill it and they take off the photoshopping. They show what she looks like, and by the time she's done, it doesn't look anything like that perceived value or perceived beauty. And so now you've got, I just saw something the other day that said in a magazine with 455 pages, 70% were ads. The average picture is photoshopped about 100 to 1,000 times. So when you're doing that, and as if, Bart, you've done photography, they might take 1,000 photos to get one or two good ones. That's before they Photoshop them. Not to mention that the women they use are generally haven't had a biscuit in a decade. So they're taking these people, then Photoshopping them, and then selling that to you 1 million times a year, saying you should look like that. The point is that pick the body that inspires you. Don't judge yourself based on what somebody else is there. But we also want to be honest about it. If I have a passion and I want to run ultra marathons, or I want to do a bodybuilding competition, I can't sit on the couch, pick a 300-pound body, and then sit there and pretend that that's going to work. And there's a power underneath both of them. And the main point is, did you choose the way you look because it's what you want, or because of what someone told you should look like? You're going to notice that theme through everything we talk about. Same thing on your success in your business. We can do the same thing with your business. In the scale of your business, over here is somebody who just settled for a job. Over here on the far left is living your absolute purpose. Somewhere along the lines, most people gave up and they settled for, well, I'm just a salesman. I'm just a coach. Well, I'm not as good because he's a billionaire. And somewhere along the lines, we've settled for, somebody else told us, well, hey, sweetie, you're just, bless your sweet little heart, you're just not smart enough to be a doctor. Or Bert, you heard the same thing, whether or not you could be a surgeon. Maybe you probably heard a lot, you're not smart enough to be a doctor. Heaven forbid, you're not talented enough to be a surgeon. And our societies have reinforced these beliefs over and over and over again, and we wonder why people wake up, they're miserable, and they're playing below their level, their best self. And so one of the blessings I've had is get to look at a lot of amazing people and see what is the difference that makes the difference. And that's what I'd love to chat with you guys about today. So what if you could go into 2017 shedding all the baggage of negativity and other people's goals for you, other people's limitations on you, and allowed you to soar into 2017 to pursue your dream and your best self? What would that be like? And so one of the things that I noticed, I heard a quote by Nelson Mandela. I'll read it to you because I don't want to jack it up, but it was brilliant. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for life that's less than the life you're capable of, by Nelson Mandela.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was thinking about what would our lives look like? And for some of us, people watching, you guys are on your path and your purpose. That's fantastic. You know what happens when you get on your path. You start finding a depth of energy and a passion and a power that you can't get when you settle for, and you start thinking, I'm not enough. This whole myth that society is used to separate us, that, oh, I'm white, I'm black, I'm brown, and that there's some kind of hierarchy, or I'm rich or I'm poor, therefore rich are better than poor, or the fact that I'm educated, I'm not educated, they're better than me because they have a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate or a law degree. And so one of the things that keeps people pegged to the ground before they can really soar is somewhere along the lines, it's very easy to accept it. Whether or not it was in elementary school, whether it was in high school, whether it was in our first job, or when we set out a dream to go for something and we got punched in the face and knocked on our ass. And it could have happened in a relationship. Somebody wanted passion in their relationship and they were totally committed to that relationship, but the person they hooked up with, they just were not there. They were on a different path. And so somewhere along the lines, though, we find, and again, Bart, this is a big part of what you love about coaching, is that finding that seed of greatness that lies within all of us and rekindling it again to spark that. Now, the good news is that the more times you've had your ass kicked, the more times you've been knocked on the ground, if you claw your way out of it, you will have a depth of greatness and a muscle that you cannot get in any college on the planet. The skills that it takes to soar are going to be built in the cauldrons of hell. The challenge, though, is that most people never pull their way out of it. They settle. They go, well, crap, I did everything, and now look, it doesn't work. You know, I tried that. I gave them everything, and they took advantage of it. And next thing you know, we find ourselves going, we're settling for a body that's not our dream body. We're settling for an income or a standard of life that's not really what we want. We're settling for just getting by and paying the bills, when in reality, you could have it all even right now, which then bodes the question, okay, what will it take in 2017? So one of the first things, though, that we want to look at is, what do we really want? What do we want? Not what my teacher told me that I should do, not what my parents, as much as I love them, told me I should be. What is the passion on my heart? And it requires some time because we've heard so many things over our life. You know, I've got a daughter right now getting ready for college and asking her, what would fulfill you? What would make you inspired when you wake up to find that greatness? And so it's like, number one is let's get some new beliefs that will open the door. One of my favorite things, I don't know if I have anything, I can write it here and it would be backwards anyway, but let me see if I can do it. This is a success cycle. And if you guys Google it, you find out it's really simple, but it's very powerful. Give me 1 second. And this might be backwards. Okay, so basically, this is a success cycle. Is that coming across the right way, or is it backwards?
Yep.
Yeah, beliefs,
Okay.
potential, action, results. Yeah.
Yep. I got it.
Okay, so if we want to have a different 2017, we need to start with our beliefs. Here's why. If I have negative beliefs, a belief might be I'm not smart enough. A belief might be I'm too old. I missed my opportunity. It's too late for me. If I have a belief that I didn't go to college for that, it's too late to go to college. It's too late to start a business. You know what? I've tried 5 times. I've been bankrupt 5 times. If I have that kind of belief, do you think that belief is going to allow me to access more or less of my potential? What do you guys think?
What do you think, Wendy?
I think you need to change, and because the way they're thinking, even though you got bankrupt 5 times for trying 5 times, you need to keep trying. So you're being very negative, and I think that's really affecting the person in a very negative way. They need to change their thinking and keep trying. In my opinion.
So in truth, you know, you believe now that your potential is less than what it really is.
Yes. And Wendy, to your point, the answers, I can tell just from your answers that you've been doing a lot of work on yourself and work on it. Most people don't. And it's, you get beat down enough, you're waiting for that next hit. It's like, Jesus, oh my God, I can't win to lose. And after a while, it's a lot easier than getting your hopes up. I've heard that over and over again, even to people, to my daughter. Don't get your hopes up. No one from the school has ever won a race. Don't get your hopes up. You're not that fast. Don't get your hopes up. Don't shoot for the stars. And what happens over repeated beatings on that, with this situation though, if I think I'm automatically going to lose because I've already lost 5 times, I will use less of my potential. Because what's the point? I'm going to lose anyway. And then I'm going to take maybe some action because I know I at least got to give it a try, one of the worst words in the dictionary. And because of that, my results are going to suck. And I just proved, look, of course I couldn't win. I'm too old. I just told you I'm too old. So I'm not going to give it my best because I'm old. And I'm not going to use as much action because what's the point? I'm old. I'm not going to win. I'm going to lose, not get it. And now all of a sudden I lose. I told you I was too old.
Can you just bring it a little closer again so that people can see it? So there you go.
People have a tendency of talking themselves out of.
Great, Mark. Thanks.
Right?
Yes. And you're right. The secret, Wendy, is what you said. Now, if I also go back and look in my life and I ask myself, where did I win? Look at something in your life where you won. What we forget is there were other naysayers back then who told you couldn't win. But there was something within each of us that if I know that I am going to win and I want this so bad, that will allow me to access more of my potential. When I'm using the best part of myself, where I'm focused, I'm doing the best, I'm staying up late, I'm getting up early, I'm doing whatever, I'm repeating it until I get it right, I will take more intelligent, inspired action, which gives me a better result. And I prove, look, I always find a way to win. And so what we've done is, what happens though is we forget. And so one of the things is that it is so easy. Like, for example, I'll give you another one and I'll just show you. If I do something like this, tell me what you guys see.
I see a dot above a line.
Okay.
Starting point.
Okay, good. So here I've got a page with 100% space and less than 3% of it is taken up with a dot, but it's the first thing you see, correct?
Right.
So the meaning is something you gave to it afterwards. But what most people do is they go through life and saying, look at the freaking dot. I already tried. Look at that. They forget they had 97% win and they only see the 3% that they didn't make it happen. And when you look at success is very much like boiling water. It doesn't boil at 98 degrees Celsius. It boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And so what happens is people take action, and all of a sudden they're working, and all of a sudden they didn't win the lotto. They didn't become a billionaire, and they think that they failed because they gave up too soon. That old 3 feet from gold's theory. Right. Because the world is conditioned to point out the dot every time. There are people in your life pointing out the dot to you repeatedly, and we have to realize we need to be looking at all the stuff we do intentionally that are right. Whether or not that means getting up in the morning and going for a run, even if I feel like crap, even if I'm slow, even if I have crappy shoes, even if I'm old, or any other belief. And it's in those moments of action, when we start taking inspired action, that magic will change. So if we go back to 2016, my question would be to everybody watching this, give yourself the gift of 15 minutes of honesty. Write down all the beliefs about why you didn't hit your dream. Was it someone else's fault? Was it a spouse that doesn't support you? Was it that you're too old? Was it that you're not smart enough? Was it that you failed already and you're barely holding on and there's not enough time? Ask yourself, because if you don't change your beliefs, 2017 is not going to get better. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've looked at this for a long time. Now, here's the great news, Wendy, is exactly what you said. Just as that's true that you don't have time, a sad fact is we all have 168 hours a week. What do we choose to do with them in 2017 will determine where we go. So we've got 168 hours. Now, just like there are times in my life where I got my ass kicked, life hit me hard for 7 years. You name it, I went through it. Dad died, mom died, my workout partner committed suicide. He was the guy would have been the least likely out of anybody I knew. He had the magic touch in life. Everything he touched went to gold, and he was a light in every single light. And I didn't realize how much he was hurting because I was so much in my own ass about the stuff that I was paying attention to. I had 2 of my good friends at work die of cancer. We were the 3 amigos. I'm the last one standing. I watched my net worth in the real estate market collapse. You name it, lost $1 million overnight. And so if I focus on everything that went wrong, that's simply a focus and a belief. And I remember my primary question used to be, are you effing kidding me? So my belief was, I'm going to get hit in the throat again. Might as well just get ready for get kicked in the nuts. And it was that sort of thought process. So because of that, guess what? I was not accessing most of my potential. And all of a sudden I was taking marginal action because I was just going through the motions. We all know there's a difference between when I am dialed in and when I'm mailing it in. And I was mailing it in. And then I was getting shitty results, which proved it's not working. My time has passed. And the shift, if we want to shift 2017, is start with those beliefs. One of the best things I ever did was a brag book. Okay.
Love it.
This is something I call a brag book, and the flip side is the gratitude journal. Okay. So here's how quickly it will shift. A brag book is simply just for you. Go back, give yourself the gift, start giving yourself 1 to 5 minutes a day and write down, this is only for your eyes. This is not for a spouse, not for a friend. This is for you. Write down in everything you can remember that you won. Where in 3rd grade, you were afraid to speak and you got up and got an A on that report and you did a report in public. When you won the most, sold the most candy door to door and you got a, something for the team. Or when you went up in baseball and you sucked all year long, but you got the game-winning hit. Or you kept going up to bat, even though whatever it was. And when somebody said you would never amount to anything and then you did this, or you weren't smart enough for college and you did it. This is for you. When you showed kindness to somebody, even though they didn't deserve it because they were hurting, and you loved on them anyway. And what will happen is you're going to now start remembering who you really are. And you're going to realize you've always been divine perfection. It's simply that other people in pain were lashing out at you, and somewhere along the lines, we started to believe it. We started to think, shit, I'm not that good. Who am I? I'm just one man. That was my cop-out for a long time. And it's like, then I heard in a voice in my head, and it said, how many people was Gandhi? It's like, ouch. How many people was Mother Teresa?
Right.
How many people was Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King? And then I heard, which was, is it the number of people you think you need to be, or is it the depth of your commitment to your dream and purpose? So that would be my question to you guys. If it's a dream, it's your dream. You have everything it needs within you if you want to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So every day, start remembering so you don't think you're really great. You know what you're great. And guess what? It doesn't make you better than the guy next to you. You will be able to see his greatness more than he can because he's still swimming in the water of mediocrity, but where he's believing all the bullshit people trying to keep him down.
Right.
And so if you start every day, just remind yourself, just go back and think the first time you saved up money to buy your car, when you were able to make a donation to somebody and saw them light up, everything that you did that you've forgotten, and one thought will give you a second thought, a third thought, a fourth thought, and pretty soon you're going to realize you're far more powerful than you ever dreamed of. Now, the other side is a gratitude journal. One of the ways that I pulled myself out rapidly, which is a form of a belief, it's all energy. The words I speak, my thoughts, my dominant thought, that's energy. Gratitude is healing energy. It's a vibration which can heal the spirit and heal the soul. So I remember sitting in the back of Tony's event. I had cancer surgery on Monday. Thursday, I was sitting in the back room with a big pile of lymph in my crotch where it was pooling. And I heard in my head, it said, if you could take the cancer for your girls, would you? And I looked around because it was so loud and there was nobody there because I was in the back row. And I answered out loud and I said, yes. And then it said, some parent won't get that choice today. And in that moment, I went from being resentful about cancer to being grateful. How crazy is that? Same situation. My dad died of cancer. My mom died of cancer. And here I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3. And immediately I was like, wow, I get to take it for my girls. And then the next thought I had was, wow, I can at least tell them I love them one more time. Some parent isn't going to get to come home today. He's, I don't remember what it was. 7,000 people die every day, I think it is. There's a parent who will never get to hug his kids again. And I go, at least I get to do that. And then I thought, well, at least I could go ahead and write out stuff and let them know how much I love them and give them insights. There's parents that can't do that. And this was when Syria was starting, or Libya, I think it might have been. And I remember then I thought, well, no one shot at me today. We take it for granted. If you're watching this, more than likely, whether you know it or acknowledge it, you're in the Lucky Sperm Club. As bad as you have it, there are 1 billion people living in dumps in Egypt, literally rummaging through the food in a dump trying to make it, or in Syria, where they don't know if they're going to come home. A friend of mine's from Iran. He didn't realize every single day, he didn't know if his dad was going to come home. And we forget that. And so next thing you know, I thought, wow, I've got a car, expensive car. And I thought, my radio works. I remember I had years I couldn't even have a radio because I couldn't afford it. And next thing you know, I overdosed on gratitude. I couldn't find, even sitting in traffic. Anybody that knows me, I've got I am fast, hardwired to go. Patience was not even anywhere near, and neither's moderation. And I found myself sitting in bumper to bumper traffic going, wow, I have a kick-ass car. And I bet you 10 to 1, if I wasn't have traffic, I'd probably get a ticket. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, this is about the only time I get to myself. And I found myself overdosing on gratitude, which is a belief. And I started realizing all the things that I was grateful for, which then within 60 days, long story short, they could not find cancer anywhere in my body.
Wow.
The doctor kept coming and he said, I apologize, but we don't know how, we don't know why. We've sent it to 2 different pathologists. The preliminary diagnosis, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, was accurate. They both came up with the same conclusion. What we don't know is where it went. You're cancer-free. We just don't know why. So again, we have that power within us. We have the power to heal. We have the power to turn a dream into a reality if we're willing to make some shifts. So that shift starts with your belief. If you go back to your belief and say, oh, well, he got lucky, that belief will keep you grounded. And that means you can't fly. If you have a belief of, oh, it won't work for me, that will keep you grounded and you're never going to soar. And so part of the thing that we're looking at for 2017, once we start to realize that we can choose our beliefs, you're right either way. You're either going to choose your beliefs about the best self that you have, or we're going to fall into the gap of, shit, my teacher told me I would be a failure. My buddies in high school said that I was not as smart as them. They said I'd never amount to anything. And whichever, the old story about the wolves in the dream. The warrior had a vision quest and he went there and he saw the 2 wolves and they were fighting, the white wolf and the black wolf. And they were fighting and it shook him up so bad. He ran down to talk to the shaman and asked him, he said, grandfather, I saw this horrible dream and these 2 wolves were fighting. He goes, the white wolf and the dark wolf. And he asked me, he goes, which wolf won? And the shaman grandfather looked at me and said, well, which one do you feed? So the same is true for our beliefs. I can come up with 1,000 references about why I kick ass, take names, and chew bubble gum. I could also come up with 1,000 times in my life where I missed the mark. Guess which one is going to make me powerful in 2017?
Right.
Now, that's the first step, but it's not enough. The Secret was a great video, but they kind of edited out one of the key factors in that movie, which was inspired intelligent action. So once you go ahead and determine what you want, not meaning, if you're trying to go ahead and get bikini thin for a girl just because to please a guy, that probably won't last. Bart, if you want to go ahead and look like, I want to get this girl, so I'm going to look like a 250-pound bodybuilder. If you're doing it for her, it's probably not going to last. But if you figure out what you want and you know why you want it, and you stack all the reasons why you were going to have it, now we have a conversation. Now it can become a reality, and it can last. So the first thing you're going to want to do, number one, is once you get your beliefs, you also want to say, why not you? Bart, you've seen this as well. How many times do we see people that we marvel? There's like, no way in hell should that person have made it. And they did.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, are you going to look at me and tell me that Oprah Winfrey's success was because she had an abortion at 13, she was fat, and she was ugly or black?
Right.
By her own definition. So so how did she become one of the world's most powerful women? There's a depth of greatness in there that it didn't break her. It made her stronger. How about J.K. Rowling? Maybe it was the fact that she was single woman on welfare with a kid in a stroller, and she did her books on the back of napkins because that's all she had. I highly doubt that that's her secret to success. What she did demonstrate, that Oprah demonstrated, is there's a depth of greatness in all of us. They were committed. So you guys, everybody watching this, you decide what you want. Damn the torpedoes, burn the boats, and get in the game. So once you start deciding why not you, there are 100 people. I remember my excuse I used to say was I was too short to play basketball. I loved it. I think when I hit my big growth spurt, I got to 5'3", and I thought, oh my God, this is so easy in basketball. And then I finally got to like 5'6", 5'7", but I let the story in my head that I was too short and the uniforms would look too big. They didn't have them small enough, and people would tease me, so I wouldn't try out. Guys on the team were going, Mark, would you please try out? Nope, not going to do it. And it wasn't until I saw Spud Webb, who was my height, who didn't take that story, and he made it to the NBA and won the NBA slam dunk contest, my height.
Right.
The power of what you say in your head, guys, is mega powerful. Choose wisely. So once you decide what you want in 2017, start making sure it's your dream. Whatever it is, if you want to now set the foundation to start building a business where you can have freedom and make a bigger impact. If you want a relationship, what is that relationship look like and feel like? How do they treat you? How will you know when you see them? Who would you need to be to attract somebody of that caliber? And just know that there's always a way for you to win. And you're going to have references like crazy about how it's possible, because you always win when you remember. And when you're totally committed, there's nothing you can't do. That same power that J.K. Rowling had, that Oprah has, that every person of destiny has, you have it too. And all we need to do is remember that when other people are telling you can't do it, that's their fear talking. It doesn't mean they don't love you. A lot of times they do. They don't want you to get your heart broken again. They don't want you to, set your sights up high only to see it squashed. And next thing you know, you've got the people that should be supporting you around you, and now all of a sudden you're playing small. None of us are here to play small. We are in a new age of transformation. We are in an age where, as each of us awaken to our highest self, the next thing you know, other people start stepping up too, because they see it in you and now they remember in themselves. And so that's going to be part of it. Number one, you're going to need to make sure, what beliefs do you need? What do you want? So if you want to be, let's say now is the year you're going to build your business. Okay, what beliefs do you need that will support you to that dream? Be intentional. You're right either way. If this is the year you're going to now get in the best shape of your life, you're going to know why. What beliefs do you need to have so that you can now be in the best shape of your life? So you start with your beliefs. Then you can also start looking for some intelligent action. Random action means that you're just busy. Most people hide in busy. You want a transformational year, get inspired, intelligent action. So for example, if you want to work out and you want to get in the best shape of your life, look at the conditions in your life. Maybe you don't have 40 hours a day. Maybe you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, and you've got 2 30-minute windows that you can do it. What is the most effective thing you can do in those 30-minute windows? Get P90X. Get one of those, YouTube videos. But also there's another thing, is get yourself an accountability partner. Somebody else. If all you did was get committed and you have an accountability partner, you will work out a lot more than if you don't. Flat out. Even still, I get up at 4:30 in the mornings to go work. I'm not a morning person. But here's the sad truth. I don't want to let them down. So I don't care how tired I am. I don't care how bad I feel. I will show up to not let them down, even though I know I need it for myself too. And I've just seen that over and over again. When you find a workout partner, somebody that you're accountable to, you will do the impossible. When left to myself, there are times I'll drive out there at 4:30 in the morning. It's raining, it's dark, it's cold. And I sit there going, God, if he doesn't show out, I'm not going to go out and run. I'm already there and I won't do it. He shows up and we get a great run. And running's hard. The other part that I would say is that if you find an accountability partner, make sure they're as committed as you are.
Yep.
And when they do, you're going to find a power in you where you both rise rapidly. And if you want, get a training group. Get 3 or 4 people. So if one drops off because they have the flu, you still work out. Same thing for your peer group. How committed is your peer group? Bart, it's one of the things we did. We did the 90-day challenges. That helped keep us accountable to each other.
Yep. And
next thing you know, you're doing things that are impossible. Why? Because I know my buddies and my team is doing the same thing and they're elsewhere. So that's intelligent, inspired action. That gives an exponential return on the activity. So, but you also have things that you know that you could do. And if you don't have an accountability partner, you don't have a gym set, you can still get a hell of a workout. Just Google some of those workouts. Some of those workouts I see, Seal Fit and some of these guys, you could use a sandbag, get a bucket of rocks. You can become miserable with the bucket of rocks. There's always a way when you're committed. And the same thing for your business. You're busy, great. There's 168 hours. You're only working 40. What are you doing with the other 128? Are you more committed to your sleep or are you more committed to your dream? It's amazing to me, Bart, you must have seen this too. It's amazing to me how busy people are, how they have no time, but I notice and they watch TV every single freaking night.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't that they don't have time, it's that they're priorities and they're focused on their dreams and they're hiding in the television instead of facing that fear, facing that they don't think they can do it, and just go build your business if that's what you want to do. If it's write a book, write the freaking book. Turn off the TV. So what if it sucks? The first one very well might. But in the process of writing that book, you're going to find yourself gaining momentum. That was the second part of the inspired action. Give yourself the gift and look at your life and get brutally honest. What is stealing your dream? Is it negative thoughts? Is it negative people? Are you hiding in busy work? Are you hiding in the myth of perfection? I can't do it right now. I need to get my website up. I need to go ahead and I need to get my desk cleaned. I need to go ahead and get this new app for my phone so I can write it on my phone. Frickin' J.K. Rowling did it on coffee napkins. So are you hiding? What is keeping you from your dream? If you're not doing it, you've got story there. You've got beliefs there that are in the way. You got to rip those out, grab them and get brutally honest. You're the only one that can get brutally honest with that. It's not from a place of judgment. It's of superpower. Only the super strong can look themselves in the face, look in the mirror and say, you know what? I deserve better. And it's my bullshit story about why I can't have it. And I might have laziness there. That's also part of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are times in the morning, it's like, again, if I didn't have a workout partner, people go, oh my God, you're so motivated. No, I've got accountability partners. In the last month, I think I've ran 40 times. I think maybe 5 I wanted to run.
Wow.
But I do it. And it's, guess what? If my legs hurt, then I take care of it. I rub them out. I do, acupuncture or acupressure. I do ART or, trigger point, or I do whatever I can do to make sure that I can run. So, but the big thing though that I get is that people all the time, and it's just, it breaks my heart because again, it's one of those things where at the end of our life, if you were shown the life you could have lived, if you just stepped into your power, what could it have been? And not even just for you, but for your kids, for your friends, for your family. There are so many people sitting there waiting for somebody to step into that power and give them hope. And if you're watching this and you're on Dr. Rademaker's show, there's something deep within you where you know it's true. So drop the bullshit story that you're going to do it next year. Do it now. There is no next year. You've only got now. That's why they call it the present. There is no tomorrow. You've got now, which is the next question. Why not now? How much of your life are you going to give up to these bullshit stories, this bullshit belief system that all you need to do is just realize that you're better than that? Give yourself the other beliefs which are also true. And when you start to build that wolf, feed those stories, and then start taking intelligent action, getting around other people that are thinking about this, you're going to realize that your greatness far surpasses anything you could have imagined. And that's what juices you, Bart. That's what juices me. When I watch people break through and they realize, holy shit, I did that. And you go, yeah, you did. And that's what juices us as humans. That's why when we watch somebody get up in the in the Olympics and get up and fight their way back to win, that's why we cry, because we know at our core that greatness is in us too.
Yeah.
If we didn't care, it wouldn't affect us. But when we watch that, or we see the little, what's his name, Hoyt, where his dad, this was a guy, Hoyt, where his son had cerebral palsy and his son wanted to do a triathlon or something crazy. This guy had Bart, 2 heart attacks. And he pushes, he's older than I am. He's completed, 5, 10, 20 Ironmans now, pushing his son. So is the guy Superman, or did the guy tap into something that we all have access to? That's a big why. That's what got me running, was when the girls were teasing my daughter. The kids in school were calling her the fat, slow kid. And they would chant that at PE. They'd chant, fat kid, how slow could you go? Fat kid, oh, she's going to blow. And they would sing that about her at PE. And talk about a 6th grader, that's the worst thing you could have. Then she'd go to lunch line and they would start chanting it as she'd walk by, and it would take over the whole lunch area. And, she came home one day and I knew something was wrong. And she sat on my lap for about 15 minutes, this beautiful spirit in 6th grade, just a beautiful girl. And I don't mean physically. I mean, she showed kindness to people repeatedly who didn't deserve it. And my attitude, all she could mumble out was, Daddy, can you teach me to run fast? That's all she could mumble after about 15 minutes of crying. When we started, she could not run 1 lap. If you threw her a softball, it would literally hit her in the face and she would miss it. She could not catch it. She had no eye-hand coordination whatsoever. When she tried to kick a ball, she would miss the ball, fall on her face, and all the kids would laugh. I mean, she just did not have that physical quotient. And so when the kids were doing that, here's this beautiful spirit, and watching these kids out of fear attack her and make her to try and make themselves. I later learned it was the kids on the cross country team. And so sure enough, I was 205 pounds. I was powerlifting and lifting. I made the commitment, even though all my references for running were painful. I dropped 55 pounds rapidly. I got in amazing shape. I started running, and I reached out to every coach on the planet. Anybody that was a female Olympic champion, collegiate champion, high school champion. I tracked people down all over the world, and I got a really amazing peer group. Wow. Next thing you know, they gave me insights. Long story short, it took us, I think, 3 months or something till she could run a mile without stopping. And it was just under 10 minutes, which is just above walking. And she said, Daddy, when I become a champion, I'm never going to be mean like those girls were. And sure enough, a year later, 18 months from the day we started, she was the fastest middle school runner in all of San Diego. She ran a 5:25 mile, and she was winning races by over a minute to 2 minutes over the second place runner. Never in their school history did they have somebody win one race, much less a championship. And true to her form, she would win the race, turn around and high five and hug every single runner as they came through, regardless of team. And sadly, at first, the other kids were not used to it, because she would go up and hug the slow ones too, because she used to be one of them. And at first they thought she was mocking him, because that's what most people do to the fat kids. And she remembered what that was like, and she would hug them and high five them, and her love and caring for those other people transformed that entire group until they all were one team, and they all realized we're all in it together. And my nature would have been to fight back and teach her how to fight. Her nature was to love and take it to a higher level. And that's there for all of us, guys. So don't think that you're working in a vacuum. Your life matters. There are people looking. You are somebody's hero. You are somebody's hope. And if we don't step up, who the hell's going to? If you're watching this, you're that little bit of twisted crazy where you know it's there. You're just looking for those pieces, and it's there for you. But we got to decide. We got to get in the game. We don't have time. We can't keep putting it off. For those of you that are already on the journey, great. Let's turn it up. Look at that. Take a look at what is on your heart. What has been on your heart? Forget the fact you didn't hit your goals already. Now is a new day. You have new muscle. You have new distinctions. All it takes is a couple of distinctions, and next thing you know, you start taking intelligent, inspired action and watch the magic that comes your way. So first off as well, and we'll go ahead and wrap up, and then Bart and Wendy, if you guys have any questions. The big part too is that I want to say thank you guys for just listening and spending some time with us. It's people like you who, whether we know it or not, there are people looking at you. More than likely, you're the most successful in your peer group. You're the one that most people will look to. But if we don't take it to the full level, it allows other people to sit back and think, oh, this is all there is.
Right.
It's only all there is because that's what they're doing.
Right.
It's your sandbox. It's your ball. You get to make the rules. So let's make them so you win, and let's make 2017 and commit to kicking ass, taking names, chewing bubblegum to a level that we've only read about, dreamed about, but we know is our divine birthright. And that's really a big part of what I'm looking to do and support and serve as many people as I can, because it's not one person that's going to be the guru. It's not one person that's going to change the world. The way we change the world is for each of us to step up into our power, and side by side, shoulder to shoulder, white, black, brown, yellow, purple, doesn't matter. Rich, poor, educated, non-educated, we're all divine perfection. What we do with it is what's going to separate us. But at the core, we're already perfect. Now we just need to build the muscles that we want to support our mission and our purpose so that we can live our destiny and the purpose that we're here to make. And that's how, when we recognize our power, that's when magic happens in this world.
Wow, this is so awesome. I am so speechless and enthralled. Thank you so much, Marc. What a treat today. And yeah, we do have to wrap it up. I think we have about a minute left, Wendy, or is it 2 minutes? Is it 1 or 2? 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's I miss listening to you. I miss listening to all your wisdom. And the real reason I have this platform, Marc, is to really tap into that, what I call a collective wisdom, and create a space for generative collaboration, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. There is so much more within us. I get excited when I meet people and recognize their greatness. Like you've always taught me, you see the greatness in others way before many times that they get to see it themselves. And it's so much fun to see that greatness be fulfilled just by us helping them, giving the insights, just the inspirations, just like you're sharing with me today and everyone else. Because it's true, there is 20 times more inside of us. And when you just simply have that belief, and if you just, like you said, just are honest with yourself and really connect with what's going on inside, what is it that you really want in life? And just like you said, and what Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. And you would be right.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, in my story, and I'm going to keep that part brief, is I realized what I didn't know that I didn't know. And that's the thing that made the difference. And that's why I have the platform. That's why I love, having people like yourself here. You are a thought leader for all of us, an inspiration for all of us. And I'm very excited to see what kind of responses we're going to get on this interview. And I'm going to insist, I'm going to have you back more often, again, because people deserve to hear this kind of stuff. And it's authentic, it's genuine. And we all deserve, as I like to put it, to tap into your authentic genius and live the life that you desire. So, Marc, thank you so much. Bless you and your family, and, tremendous success that I know that you're going to have in 2017. Same to you, Wendy. She is an awesome human being.
Yep.
And she's worked hard. And I want to thank you, too. And so I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation. #RealPeople, #RealConversations, and I'll be back on Facebook Live tomorrow. Thank you.